This media is brought to you by Polyscope.
In the realm of tomorrow, where techniques mind, we ponder, we dream.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Think Future. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. And today we have a very special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization and what you're passionate about?
Great. Thanks for having me, Chris. My name is Zoher Karu. I've been doing data and analytics for a long time before it actually, I guess, became an official profession, perhaps. My background is I did a PhD in engineering, didn't use it, did McKinsey consulting, several smaller startups.
Of course you used it. Something in there was useful, right?
Well,
An entire PhD.
yeah,
Something in there.
problem solving. I did biomedical research. I got paralyzed people walking, studied human hearing,
Wow.
but then did went on to McKinsey and then several smaller startups doing interesting things like tracking customers' walking paths inside of stores, understanding conversations in contact centers, and then bigger companies like Sears Holdings, eBay, Citibank, Blue Shield of California, all different industries, but all basically leading the data analytics and AI functions there enterprise wide. I've left Blue Shield recently. I'm currently working with Taelor, a men's clothing rental subscription service, and helping them use data and AI and other algorithms to help style clothes for men to help them achieve their goals.
Whoa, that is an interesting space to be in, and we all need help. I got to say that for sure. It's like every time I go see that, I have this one doctor who's a shoulder specialist, and he is dressed impeccably. I don't know how the hell he does it, but he is dressed impeccably. And every time I look at him, I think, man, I got to do something like that. So is that what your company does?
Well, trying to do that, yes. We have a blend of algorithms and as also professional stylists trying to help people not have to go out shopping and try to figure out what to buy, but actually, curate clothes for them and send them on a regular basis to them. And you don't have to buy them; you rent them, and you get clean clothes all the time, right? So,
wow,
yeah,
that sounds really cool. So how did you get into that? Like, what made you decide to go into that space?
Well, Anya Cheng, who's one of the co-founders, I know her from many years ago. In fact, I hired her for my team for Sears Holdings 10, 15 years ago. And we've kept in touch over the years. And she had formed this company a couple of years back. And like I said, since I left Blue Shield, I offered to help her out in some way. So that's what I'm doing.
Nice, nice. So tell me how that works. I mean, how do you come up with some style that will work for a person? I mean, obviously you've got personal data, you've got personal style, you've got whatever's out there. I mean, how do all those things match up? I mean, how do you match those things up to come up with something?
It's definitely, like you said, a matching problem, and it's a challenging one. We gather a bunch of information about the person to start with using a style quiz, things like, of course, your body height, weight, shape, some of your color and print preferences, what categories you want to focus on. Do you want pants or a lot of pants or no pants? And, we try to gather some information. And then we, of course, gather a whole bunch of metadata about the garments themselves. What brand is it? Exactly what size is it? Because it's, unfortunately not standardized in the fashion industry, right? A small is not always a small. Right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Right?
They go from one place to another. They're completely different.
And so that makes the problem even more challenging. So gathering data about, metadata. And then, of course, there's a large plethora of data kind of leveraging both stylist knowledge and sort of the some of the large language models on like which clothes go together. There's been methods done, everything ranging from scraping images off of the internet to see what shirts and pants typically go together, but also leveraging trained expertise and incorporating that. And it is not easy. You're right, but it is if it can be cracked, it's a useful problem. Not everybody wants to think about or even has the skills to like you said, your doctor, like what actually looks good, right? And so can we help in that area? And also, what's also interesting is that type of data generates all kinds of demand signals that could be fed all the way back upstream to the manufacturers, because there's
Mm.
a lot of clothes being made that just go straight to landfill because they didn't realize people didn't want it. But if you could scale the demand signals of like what people are interested in, what they're buying at the individual level, and match it to their body type, then like, hey, we need more stretchy sweaters in the southeast, or like, well, I mean, whatever, right? You can do all kinds of things, right? So
That is really interesting. You said it was a rental model. Like,
yes.
how does that work? Is it like you don't own any clothes? They just come to you and you use them for a while and then ship them back?
Is exactly how it works. That's right. And so you ship them back and you get a
That's
new set.
crazy.
You do have the option. If you love something, you can purchase it and you can buy what you have. Like, hey, I love this shirt that you guys sent me. Can I just buy it? Yes, you can buy it. Right. And so we will offer you the option to buy some things, but otherwise, yeah, just send it back and get a new set of clothes. Right. So, and then because the seasons keep changing, we of course keep altering the types of clothes being sent to you and things like that. So.
That is crazy, but it makes me think that it wouldn't be very cost effective. I mean, is it cost effective?
Shipping is challenging, as you can imagine, right? It's a big chunk of the cost, right? And because it's free shipping both directions to get it
Right.
and return it. But it is profitable, right? If you sign up for, there's different plans. You want to play quarterly, you want to play monthly, whatever. The clothes are rented a few times, right? To multiple people, so you can it the challenge in scaling it is, of course, bottling the expertise of the human stylists into the algorithms so that we can scale. Like, we don't want lots of humans in the loop, right? Like, we need some humans in the loop, but we don't need a lot of humans in the loop, right? As we scale the number of the customers. So that's what we're
And
trying
so,
to do.
how far along are you from reducing the number of humans in the loop? Are you pretty high up at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, look, we monitor closely things like minutes it takes to style a shipment, or stylist per customer and things like that. And yeah, we're making a dent. Sure, it's fully turned the corner yet, right? Because we're still investing heavily on the algorithms. But as we scale the number of customers, we're trying to avoid, of course, hiring more humans, right? We're just trying to make efficiency gains and intelligence gains, right? So
Very cool. So, how does this? Are there any specific challenges that you have in this specific startup that are different from any that you've had in the past, or is this same old?
Uh, well, it's a little bit more challenging of a problem in this particular space I'm in right now, because one, the clothes are not standardized. That's part of the problem, right? Like, in
Mm,
other things, like you buy an iPhone, you know what an iPhone is, okay? Like, there's no versions of an iPhone, right? And
right.
so and here it's like, well, the sweater is a little bit more stretchy than this one. This one is this. That, like, if this one hangs a little lower, this one. Okay, it gets a little tricky, right? There's a lot of
Mm,
metadata about the clothes, and there's a little bit of a subjective factor that you have to somehow capture from the humans. Like, does this look good on you, right?
right.
And so there's some things that are clearly black and white. Yeah, that looks bad. That looks good. Okay, but then there's a little bit of a gray area sometimes. And then how do you try to capture that? And at the same time, you don't want to rely entirely on what the customer says, because part of this exercise is to push the person's boundaries, right? And push them sort of on the edge of the comfort zone. It's like, yeah, you could wear jeans and a t-shirt every day, and we could just send you jeans and a t-shirt, but like, what else could we do, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, and so
So, do
trying to understand that is hard, right?
So do the customers' goals actually factor into this as well? So for example, somebody wanted to be they're very introverted and they wanted to be more extroverted. Do they
Yes,
give you that information too? And you
yes, yes. There's
cool.
this concept of occasions. Like, what occasions do you want this clothes for? Like, so I'm going on a vacation. I'm going to a party. I'm going out on several dates. I need clothing for these occasions, right? Which might be sometimes they're one off, or sometimes they're like, hey, I just started a new job. I'm going to the office. I need to know what I should be doing, right? And so we try to get input on the occasions. We get continuous feedback from the customers as well, whether they're reviewing items or the shipment or conversations that we receive back and forth, whether that's human read or machine read. But like, hey, love the sweater, wish it was a darker color, well, like whatever they say, right? We're trying to incorporate. So
So you pull in their own feedback, and you also use data from elsewhere. Did you capture any other kinds of intrinsic data, or
Uh, like what? Like it's data about the customer and interaction data. So there's
yeah,
like
do
self-stated
you
data and
capture any
interaction data.
data about their interests and desires, like outside of what they actually explicitly tell you?
Um, not yet. Like you mean like I mean we don't do GPS tracking and see if you're going to the gym a lot. All right, like we're not. Uh,
This guy
but
seems to be losing weight. Maybe we should think
yeah,
about reducing
that's
his
right.
sizes a
That's
bit.
right. No, that's right. No, not there yet, but there's certainly as you think about the data in the world, there's a lot of information you could learn about a person, right? And you know, do I want to pull in signals that Meta has about you, about what you're clicking on Facebook? Like I
Yeah.
don't know, like do I, and so there's a lot of information out there. But like initially, we're focusing on self-stated data and sort of what I'll call behavioral data, meaning interactions with Taylor. So
Do you loop in any of the user's social network themselves to get feedback from them? So like, they may say, "Oh, does this look good on me?" to their social network.
we haven't launched that feature, right? Where they can, I mean, they might be doing it casually on their own, but we don't have a way of capturing that information. But we could. In concept, you could almost create your own Taylor community where you post. I mean, they do send us pictures of themselves sometimes, right? So we can see what it looked like on them. But you could imagine opening up a Taylor community. Is like, hey, can others can comment on what they see, right? And then there may be uh, maybe some value in that as well, right? So,
But it wouldn't be just your friends. It would just be a Taylor community, a general
yeah, I
Taylor
mean,
community.
if we wanted from your friends, then we'd have to think about kind of a structured way to capture that, right? Because we only want the stuff about the clothes, not all interactions with your friends. I don't know how to filter that out, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
the reason I'm asking is that actually came up with an idea for a startup called Does This Go? And the idea was that you would take a picture of your outfit while you were in the fitting room, and it would
yeah,
send it all to your friends, and they get like a very short period of time in which to vote thumbs up or
okay,
thumbs
okay.
down on what you're wearing.
Did you launch it?
No, I almost got a developer to help put it together, but I didn't actually quite launch it. So feel free to steal the idea if you want.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why you sometimes see people shopping together, right? Then they come out and say, "How does this look
Yeah,
on
yeah,
me?" Whatever,
exactly.
right?
But
So
in this
yeah,
case, it was like all of your social network, and it was kind of a thematic piece on almost like an art piece on how much do we decide what we are going to wear compared to what we think our social network will want us to wear, right? Because
yeah,
I like to joke around with my wife. I said, "Well, should I buy this shirt? I mean, you're going to be looking at me, right?"
yeah. Well, I think it is a societal question also. Like, do you care more about how you feel about yourself, or do you care more about what others think of you, right?
Right.
And if you think it looks good on you, who cares what anybody else thinks, right? Or are you trying to impress somebody or whatever else? In which case, maybe the feedback matters more, right? So,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. So you could actually like tune it one way or another. It's like this is how much I want my network to
right.
and this is how much I want to say myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. It's an interesting problem space. I agree. So,
So would you say that this is one of the most challenging spaces you've been, or have you been on others that are more challenging?
well, this is challenging for some of the reasons we talked about in terms of the data being not as structured as it could, and some human preferences mixed in. The last job I had was at Blue Shield of California Health Insurance, and healthcare is also very challenging when it comes to data, and mostly because the data is not together.
Mm.
There's a lot of siloed. Like, I mean, for example, how many times have you gone to a doctor and filled out a medical history? And like, don't they know your medical
Hundreds.
history? Like, I mean, like, and and if I mean, it's boggling. Like, what? Like, why am I filling this out over and over again? Isn't there somebody who knows all this information? And if you miss something, well, oh, you forgot to tell me about your dad's heart attack, or you forgot to like what? Like, and so the more data you can have from your health in one place, the better off you can be treated, right? And also, you might be seeing a doctor that has seen this case once a year, but hey, if you pool together all the doctors that have seen this type of case, then you get better knowledge, right? And so there's a lot of value in organizing the data. Healthcare is particularly challenging. Regulation is trying to catch up, like how you must share data in sort of some open formats. But not all these doctors' offices have big IT departments. Like they don't know how to manipulate their data in a way to, get all. And so it's a perpetual challenge. If you can, the healthcare is a crazy amount of the GDP. I mean, I forgot the numbers now. Like somebody's saying, like 20% of the GDP, like by
It's
2030.
insane.
Like, yeah, some stupid amount, right? And so, and and it could perpetually is a pro. Despite all the money being spent, it's still it's not perfect, right? And so how do we solve that problem? Can we keep you healthy? Like health insurance companies are in the job of keeping you healthy, right?
Mhm.
Because if you go to the doctor, you cost them money, right? And so, how do we keep you healthy? How do you understand somebody's health and intervene appropriately to keep you healthy? Is a challenge as well, right? And so that also was a hard problem. Like, how do you control the cost of drugs skyrocketing? How do you get people to do preventative care so they don't end up in the ER, right? Like, how do you do this stuff? That was also hard. So
Yeah, and it's funny because I know a few people who are in the data space, data analytics space, and they're constantly talking about how terrible the data is. Like it's always terrible. And it's like
yes, it
we
is
don't have
always
enough,
terrible.
and it's
I
always terrible.
I think, especially in healthcare, there's a lot of humans involved in the data process, right?
Right.
Where you're filling out a form or you're typing in the whatever code the doctor did on you, or whatever else, and so there's a lot of error in that it permeates that process, right? So
Right.
it's never clean. I mean, all companies have dirty data. Okay, but healthcare in particular has a lot of challenges just for some of these reasons, right? So.
Is there any way are we ever going to get over that? Because this seems like a constant refrain for the last 20, 30, 40 years that I've worked in this in technology. Data has always been a problem. And
Yeah,
are we actually getting any better?
in general or in healthcare or both?
Just in general.
Yeah. Well, I've been to many conferences over the years. Everybody keeps talking about the same themes over and over again. To your point, right? They're like, "Didn't we talk about this last year? Like, are we making progress?"
It's the same refrain every year.
I know exactly, like data governance or business impact or like whatever. And
Yeah.
I think it is okay. Part of the problem is yes, there's humans in the loop who make fat finger typos. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
that'll get more solved with more automated collection methods, sensors, whatever else. Uh, but a different type of problem is in corporations, data often remains siloed, even within a company, right? Like healthcare is siloed like across the ecosystem, but even within a company, sometimes it's siloed. The problem is human nature in some way. Like people use data to solve the problem in front of them. They
Right.
don't care whether this data could solve somebody else's problem, right? And so they have their own version of the data and they solve this problem. And then a different team needs that data and they make their own version. And suddenly you have multiple versions of the truth floating around. And so people just chalk it up to, wow, the data's dirty. Like, okay,
Yeah.
right, it's dirty. But I mean, they're probably both right. They're just different definitions or different something, right? And so like as an example, I mean, I worked for Citibank in the past in Singapore. I asked somebody, "Hey, how many loans did we sell yesterday?" And people are like, "What?" Apparently, the hardest part of that sentence was the word "yesterday" because they only do monthly reporting. I'm like, "Okay." Go get the data. And they got okay. We sold whatever 92 loans yesterday. Like, great. Give it to me by time of day. They're like, "What time of day? Like what?" Like, I mean, the point is, like,
Wait, all
call
these
center
transactions are date and time stamped, are they not?
yeah,
I mean,
but like they only did it. Their goal was to write down the number to get their monthly commission check. They didn't care
yeah,
about time of day or anything else, right? And so,
yeah.
but call center cares about the time of day, and marketing might care about the time of day, and like all these both be. And so people operate with blinders, and this is just human nature. You only care about what you care about, right? And you don't think about somebody else's job, and that continually leads to this what you mentioned like the dirty data problem. It's not in some cases literally dirty, but in some cases it's just different versions of the same thing floating around and then nobody knows what to do, and then you start pointing these AI engines at all of these databases and even it gets confused, like it doesn't know, right? And it will spit out an answer and it will think it's right. Do you know it's right? Like I'm like unless your data is well
It'll be very
organized.
confident about it being
Yeah,
right. I love how
that's right.
confident they are.
That's right. And so that is a problem that really needs to be thought through. And you need people in organizations who recognize that, this fundamental bedrock of our organization, like the blood of our organization that's flowing to all these different organs, it's the same blood. Okay, we don't need different versions of our blood. And
Right.
so, like, how do we make this happen? Is really what is part of the problem. So,
But it seems like this is something IT wants to do. We desperately want to do that, but none of the
yes.
rest of the organization seems that interested in doing it.
Well, it is. Okay, so a couple of comments. One, if you leave it entirely to the IT organization, they're like, we're going to create the master database to solve all databases, and we're going to take 3 years and $20 million to do it, and we did
That's
it.
right. System of
Okay, now,
record.
yeah, like I don't understand why it's still wrong. Like, okay, so the problem is, uh, people don't take a business backwards lens. Like, what problem are you trying to solve? Let's work backwards from that because IT people just simply organizing data don't even know what it's for, frankly, right?
No,
And so they just organize it, and then they forgot to put time of day as a column, or they forgot to do like I don't know, right? And so that is part of the problem. And the other part of the problem is nobody's got the appetite for these, underwater, like the iceberg. You need things below the water and above the water, right? Like you just do below the water stuff, people lose patience, right? And then
that's
management
right.
changes, like, oh, what's this master database thing? Scrap that, whatever, right? And
Yeah.
and it's like, it's just it's like,
Where's the money in that, right? Where's the money?
yeah,
This is a cost center. You're not going to
you
give me
got to
anything out
work.
of it.
You got to work business case backwards, right? And say, listen, I will help you. You don't need to figure it out yourself. What problem are you trying to solve? I'll get the data together and help you solve it. And then behind the scenes, you're of course organizing it iteratively and incrementally. Um, but it's very hard to do it in a big bang way. And you're right, IT does have that as a dream and a wish, but sometimes business side gets impatient too. Like, I need this. Oh, great, we'll put it in next year's plan. Or like, next year, I need it today. Okay, forget it. I'll build it myself. And suddenly they're off building their own little access database, or who
That's
knows
right.
whatever they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And that just perpetuates the problem,
Is it
right?
so?
So.
Is this an insoluble problem? Is this basically something we should just wring our hands and give up and say there's no way we're going to
Yeah, but
get?
okay, that uh, it is easy. I mean, the earlier you start, the easier it is. Okay, but I think uh, it, and you can say, "Well, AI is just going to solve it." Like, I don't
No,
think so.
no,
Okay,
it's not.
like, I mean, yeah, it can look across multiple databases instead of you having to bring it all together. Okay, fine, but if it doesn't know what's what, it's also going to be a problem, right?
Right.
So yes, AI can solve like the ETL process and the data modeling process and all that kind of stuff. But then what, right? So it's not insoluble, but I do think it needs to be solved iteratively, right? Like you
Mm.
start with some set of stakeholders, like, and all of this magic happens at the boundary, right? Shouldn't the digital team care about the calls coming to the call center, and shouldn't the call center care about what people are doing on the website? Shouldn't they be looking at it together, right? And so you somehow find some things at the intersection and start organizing the data to solve both problems, right? And then you just have to expand from there, one area at a time, and start getting it together. And people will start to soon realize that, oh, now I'm able to do things faster because I'm not having to dig through and figure out, right? It's together. You can focus on not finding the information, but you can focus on using the information, right?
Right.
And so that's I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't have the silver bullet or the Ark of the Covenant or whatever it is, right?
Damn, I
But
thought I thought that's why you were here. I thought you
yeah,
were
that's
gonna
right.
you were lay down the law.
That's right. So yeah.
All right. Well, it's time to think like a future. This is year 2035 or 2036, depending on when this is airing. So, where are we going to be in 10 years? Is this? We're still going to be bitching about the problem, of course. But where will things be better? Will things be worse? Where will we be in 10 years?
Uh, I think look, the ability, the share of the effort required to find and organize information, that pie, right, will be shrinking, and the
Mm.
slices of the pie that will be increasing is the using of the information, right? Well, summarizing the information will start rising, but also using the information, like agents actually acting on the information, right? Not
Right.
just and what will start, and people will not even realize the complexity behind the scenes necessary, but like things will, like, I don't know, like I need to organize a birthday party for my child next, weekend. There's a whole litany of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right,
Oh,
to
for
make that
sure.
happen. And so 10 years from now, I imagine that'd be super easy, right?
Mm.
For example, it will, book the place and invite the people and get the food and that. Like, I mean, all this stuff will start becoming a lot easier. And even with, today, with the age of, data and tools and whatever else, you still have to expend a fair amount of effort. Yeah, it's easier to find the information because you get on the web and Google and like, oh, okay, balloons, okay, got it, whatever. But you still have to do a lot of work. It's easier than it was maybe before, but it's
Yeah.
still a lot of work. But I think that will become a lot easier. Like the series of related but currently disconnected tasks will start coming together, right? And you'll be able, people will be able to accomplish even higher level activities than they are today because they're spending too much of their bandwidth on, well, I'll call the lower level activities, right?
Right.
So
So it's kind of like, let's say right now people can use their chatbots for travel, like travel itineraries. Like, I'm going to London for 6 days.
yeah,
Tell me
yeah,
what to do. Right. But
yeah,
then at the end of it, you have to say, well, okay, book it all. Sounds
yeah,
good. Book it all.
yeah,
And of
yeah,
course, today they're like, I can't do that.
yeah. I know. It'll move that direction. I think a lot of things, both in the consumer space, but also kind of in the corporate space, like, I need to make sure my inventory is optimized. Well, there's a whole series of activities underneath that, right? Like, predicting and ordering and tracking and paying and that, right? And so a lot of those things will start becoming uh, easier and more streamlined, and so that people can then think about, like, now what do I do? I was spending all this energy in optimizing my inventory, but assuming it's optimized, now what do I do? Okay, now
Yeah.
now like, go to the next level. So
So in 10 years, if I subscribe to Taylor, will outfits automatically show up on my doorstep, like
there'll be
perfectly
Amazon
designed for
drone
what I'm
delivered.
doing next?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We'll teleport them into your closet.
Well, even
So,
if they just show up on my doorstep, this is what
yeah,
I want.
yeah.
I want to be able
Well,
to just not
they
do
do show up
anything and
today.
just have new outfits just show up on my doorstep.
Well, in a way, it's almost like that today. There is a package. It does show up on your doorstep. You open it and use
But
it.
without my
So
intervention. I don't want to have to
okay,
intervene. I just want you to
well,
send me
okay,
stuff.
that's right. No, that's, well. I wish my refrigerator would fill itself automatically, for example, right? Yeah,
Do you remember Samsung tried to do that? I think they tried to
yeah,
do automatic reordering, and I
yeah,
use
yeah,
that
yeah.
example every now and then as a like a dismal failure because I think it never worked. It never worked.
Well, it's only part of the chain. The problem is the food could show up, but then you still got to do something with the food, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
like, yeah. I mean, maybe the staples you just replenish, but like, you still, like, what do I cook? Like, oh my gosh, right? And so it's if you just think about all of the tasks that you have to do in a day, all of the decisions that you have to make to do those tasks, how many of them do you wish somebody else did for you? And if somebody did them for you, what would you do instead? Right. And so, like, you look at, I don't know, like Steve Jobs or Zuckerberg, black turtleneck, gray hoodie. They didn't want to think about what to wear because then they could use their brain for something else, right? Like,
that's
they
right.
just minimized that time and did something else with that time. Okay, great. So can we minimize time using all of these technologies, to take your 10 years from now analogy? Then what will people do, right? And yes, people are saying people will be out of jobs and this and that. Yeah, technology does change what people do. I agree, right? But that doesn't mean people are just gonna, like, languish. They'll do something, right? But you just gotta figure that out, right? So
Yeah, it just won't be a burden. Although if I'm looking for that prompt that will let it empty my dishwasher. That's the number one thing I wanted to do.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. That's right. Um, so it's AI has not solved that problem. You still have there's maybe Tesla's humanoid robot will show up and do
Yeah,
it for you.
I will be if Optimus can empty my dishwasher, sold, totally sold.
All right,
So
there you go.
so if somebody wants to get
Yeah.
in touch, this has been great. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
The easiest way is probably Zoher at Zoher at Taelor.ai, Taelor.ai. Or
Taelor. Wow, cool.
Yeah,
And
Taelor.
I'm assuming you're on LinkedIn too, so I can put your
Yeah,
LinkedIn
you can
profile
just
down.
find me easily, Zoher Karu at LinkedIn. You could certainly find me that way. And we're happy to connect. So,
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Pixels and philosophies merge and mold, a future untold, unseen.